Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here. I'm going to try and, for everyone's time, get started in a timely manner. I'm Commander Matt Cannon, work professional standards here at Ventura Police Department. We have our community presentation for our military equipment, our annual report that I'm gonna go through. Emily, it didn't. Maybe. Okay. So, what is Assembly Bill 41? It was signed into law September 30th of 21. It requires all California police agencies to obtain governing body approval for us to be city council for military equipment. And we were at city council on May 23rd of 23. And then we were back just recently on July 5th of 24. What does it require? A summary of the use of specific equipment, purpose for that, a summary of complaints or concerns, results of any internal audits, violation of policies, total annual cost for each type, and quantity of each type of equipment, and quantity of any new equipment sought in the coming year. Again, while we're here, we're required by the police department to host a community engagement. We thought it'd be easier to do it on Zoom, and we could record it for the future for people that missed it and want to watch it. And we have to do it within 30 days of submitting our annual report. And like I said, that was on July 16th. Correction, July 5th. So the term military equipment doesn't necessarily indicate equipment that the military uses. That we're using actual military equipment. We fall for Ventura PD. We have 6 of the 15 categories. Unmanned, remotely piloted, ground vehicle, so drone, armored rescue, which is our Bearcat, command and control vehicle, which is our command post, specialized firearms and ammunition, which are rifles, correction, under 50 caliber, diversionary devices, which flashbangs, which we do have, and various projectile launchers and ammunition like less lethal, which we do have. So we go through the deployments, unmanned, remotely piloted aerial or ground vehicles, a drone, we had 90 deployments. Over the course of this last year, robot, we had 1. Armored vehicle, you can see it right there in the pictures. We had 19, and this also includes community engagement stuff that we use it for. Same thing with the command post. We use it for quite a bit of things. You can see community events, the fair, X Games. We had 19 deployments. The specialized firearms and ammunition, less than 50 caliber. We had 31 deployments with our rifles. Ammo used was 0, so it was deployed but not shot. Diversionary devices, flashbangs, 3 deployments, smoke canister 0, CS 0, pepper ball. Emily, it's covered on there. What was it has the Turner, can you see on your side? Because mine's covered with the people. I think it's for this year was 0, correct?
For Pepperball launcher deployments?
Yeah, 4. Sorry. Yeah, it's covered on my side of the screen. We had 4. Projectile launchers and ammunition, 40 millimeter, it's 7. 40 millimeter sponge rounds, once. Beanbag shotgun 5, deployments, and actual rounds 0. So it was deployed and not used. Maintenance and replacement costs specific for all equipment was included in the budget. So we included stuff prior to the enactment of the Assembly Bill. So it's no impact on our budget, the police budget. No fiscal impact. Like I said, approval of this annual report is required by Assembly Bill 41. The equipment listed in the annual report and used by us is critical for public safety. And we don't have any other practical alternatives. So that's it as far as that is concerned. I do thank everyone for being here. wait for me to accept any questions at this point, or is that now? Is there any questions?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Your deployments on the Bearcat, the command post, and the rifle, other than the community deployments, how many actual police-related deployments were there for each?
So we have a total of 19 for the Bearcat, the command post, again, also 19. I didn't break it down for the staff report as far as, I would say, a handful of those were community and the rest are for tactical events. We use the armored vehicle quite a bit. We get any sort of instance where we have someone barricaded, or there's a reason that we need to get behind something that's that's bulletproof related. We will have patrol. It's not just a SWAT tool. We will have patrol come and get it. They're all trained on it, and we'll bring it to the scene.
So out of 19, how many were, let's make it easy. How many were community events?
Sir, I don't have the exact number, but it'd be a handful of those for community events. Like, probably, to be safe, probably just under half.
Okay. And that was for the command post and the Bearcat, right?
The Bearcat would be probably 2/3 of those would be for actual tactical events. A few less of those for community events.
And the weapon?
The rifles are all for tactical situations. The rifle won't get deployed at a community event.
And what was the number on the rifle?
31.
Okay. That's all I had.
Thank you for your questions. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Marisa Sullivan. I am a resident here in Ventura. I do have a couple questions, and I hope you can help me clarify. Pardon my ignorance, but in essence, this is what the SWAT team is. This is the equipment. This is a part of the police department. So this is what, when SWAT gets called out, this is the unit that we might see. Is that correct?
No, not necessarily. So the mass majority of drone deployments will mostly be for patrol, for finding missing persons, for going out and getting into areas and looking for things that we can see through a drone that we can't see with our normal eyes, or safely do it. So some of those were used for SWAT deployment, but the majority of that would actually be for a patrol function. And you can go through, the robot would be primarily a SWAT operation, but pretty much the command post, like I'd already talked with the gentleman, it gets used for community events, and it also gets used for something that could be non-SWAT related, like patrol. Rifles, the same thing. The majority of our officers are all rifle trained, so those get used also on a patrol function level. A flashbang would primarily be used, a diversionary device in a SWAT operation. Smoke canister, the same thing. CS gas, same thing. So those three would be more specific to SWAT. Pepper ball launcher, moving forward, those will actually all be, patrol will have access to those as well. And that's essentially, we have someone that's, say, barricaded in a car, and patrol can handle it by putting some irritant in the car rather than going hands-on with someone that may be armed. That's also something patrol related. Both of the 40mm launcher and the sponge rounds, definitely patrol as well. And the beanbag shotgun and the beanbag rounds are something that's used on the patrol level. So the majority of this, with minus a few of those, are actually something that is accessible by our officers at any given time, not just SWAT.
Okay, and so apparently there's not been necessarily usage for the like the pepper ball or that other beanbag
Yeah.
thing recently, for the most part.
Correct.
And so if I hope I can ask a couple questions here. I'm just this is just something I really want to understand as a person, you know, community member, understanding that, you know, we want to obviously, you know, make our policemen and people safe when they're answering calls, as is happening now with the world that we live in. I'm concerned just a bit as to, and if you can help me understand, when I do know that on occasion, and certainly in my neighborhood, I live in Ventura College area, somebody was threatening suicide. You know, he'd hold up in his house, and my understanding is that this particular vehicle was called out. Um, I am aware of the numbers that happen when people get called out to deal with what are suicidal people and or possible hostage situation. I believe this is the unit that would be called out. I am just I guess I'd like to know, and I don't know if it's part of this bill, that there's also, you know, like uh, people when they're in distress. Is that part of any part of this type of unit that goes out on a call like this? That's one question. The other question is, this bill, does it require that you furnish the public with reports annually as to how how this equipment is being used? So I'm going to give you a chance to try to answer this couple questions I've asked so far.
So all of our officers are crisis intervention trained. So what we would do on a situation, that first one you're describing, is we would actually at a patrol level try to negotiate with a person, and then actually the county actually has a crisis team as well that we would try and get them involved. It's not always, it's on the rare side actually that ultimately that the SWAT team would be called out to a situation like that. We do try and handle it at a patrol level for quite some time before, if it comes to a situation where we need special equipment and tactics and that kind of thing, is where we do deploy the SWAT team. But like I explained with the Bearcat, that's a tool that's utilized by all of patrol and our sworn officers. So if that's what you saw, we do bring that out when needed, as far as if the, you know, for some protection for the officers or the public if it's needed. It's actually it's classified as a rescue vehicle. And I'm sorry, what would the other question be?
Oh, I think I was wondering about this particular bill, Assembly is it 481, which is why you're providing information today, and also to the city councils. Is this also follow up in the future, like an annual report? Is it your intention? Is it part of the bill that you need to share when the events have happened and you've actually had to use these things on human beings, other than just the different things when you're, you know, showing it to the public in a friendly manner? That's just kind of what I'd like to know about.
Yeah, we report the number of deployments, how many times they were deployed, and then the annual cost. That's what's attached to the staff report.
And then the circumstances, like what happened in, you know, with the people, is that something that you'd not be able to tell?
We do not report that annually. It's just the amount of deployments on the equipment.
Okay, all right, thank you. I appreciate your time and your wanting to answer these questions. One last thing, I know that you've gone out in the community and shown, and you showed pictures, and I have seen those things in different media things where showing what kind of equipment is you guys have. And I guess I find it really interesting. I just wonder, how do you also provide maybe tours where adult people can kind of come and just kind of look around and ask questions like we're doing that
Yeah,
today?
yes, ma'am. We run we do have station tours occasionally. And we do have our Citizens Academy. That it's all the information is on our website. And you have the chance actually to meet here and in the evening time and get trained by, well, actually learn information about all these different types of units and equipment. You firsthand, you get station tours, you actually go to the academy, you go to different places. And that's definitely an option. Emily, when's our next? Spring will be our next Citizens Academy.
Okay, thank you. I do have one last question. The approval and the amount, and then future, I'm guessing in the future there will be continued, updating, the need for updating and such. Is it based on the population of Ventura or the county? I'm trying to figure out how it's decided, how much you guys need to do your job.
Well, it's calls for service based on if we have a piece of equipment and we don't use it, and we take a hard look at that and say, well, do we need to still require maintenance on this? Do we need to keep on this piece of equipment? And we may phase it out. If we find a situation where we could have, used something that we don't have, then on the backside of that, we figure, okay, well, maybe next year we want to acquire one of these pieces of equipment. And then when the assembly bill came about, some of this was equipment that we had already been using, and now the assembly bill says we have to report on it. So that's what we do. So some of it we already had, and now we're reporting our usage on it.
Okay, thank you so much. And
Yeah.
and you made mentioned earlier at the top how many, I guess, the pieces of equipment. It seemed to be 5 out of 15, or you'll have to excuse me. I was just trying to take a note, but obviously Ventura doesn't have as much as some of the other municipalities do. Is there, I just kind of I need to wrap my mind, if you don't mind, a little bit more about that equipment, like what it is you guys have and what it is that's here in Ventura. Just, is that on the website, or is there a way to get a little bit more understanding of that?
The staff report's accessible. Like I just went through the drone, robots, the Bearcat, the command posts, rifles, flashbangs, and smoke canisters, and pepper ball launchers, and the 40mm launcher, and the beanbag shotguns are what we have.
Oh, that's right. There's 6 out of 15.
Yes.
That was 6. Okay. And that's probably, like you said, it must be on the website. I'm sorry to make you
Yes,
repeat
it's all
yourself.
accessible there.
All right. Guy, thank you. I really
Thank you for your
appreciate it
time.
again, and appreciate your patience in answering my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, can I just follow up on my previous questions regarding the deployment? Can I make a recommendation? I mean, the numbers seem to be small overall, but it really is much more helpful to know how many deployments was done from you do have a SWAT team, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So it'd be nice to know how many deployments were done by SWAT, how many deployments were done by patrol, and how many deployments were done for community events. It seems that patrol, like you outlined, is trained to use all these tools for the most part, other than probably the robot, which is more of a SWAT specific tool. But it'd be nice to have it broken down to that degree.
Okay. Thank you for that.
And my last question is your SWAT team multi-agency or just Ventura PD?
No, we have a Ventura Police Department SWAT team. It's a collateral assignment, including the 2 sergeants on it, and also 2 commanders, roughly 25 members. Again, all collateral with the assignment. So they all have full-time either patrol or detectives, motor officers, or they do this is a collateral assignment for them, the SWAT team.
And can you tell me how big the agency is, sworn?
We're allowed at 140 right now.
Okay. That's all I had. Thank you very much.
All right.
Good presentation.
Thank you, sir. All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.